Hey. Alright, hello everyone on YouTube. This is the second installment of my new series of videos. I'm doing an oil change on my daily driver here as a 2009 Scion and TC. That'll be a good few minutes to talk about it. I could go over how an oil change is done, but most of you already know how to do that. It's pretty simple. Drain old oil out, exchange filter for new one, put oil in. Very simple. This is a Toyota 2.4 liter dual overhead cam. As you see, I took the engine cover off it because that's dead weight. There's no point in having it. And it's been a really nice car over all the last year that I've had it. I did restore the headlights. They look nice and shiny. I used the M3 restore kit. They were hazed a bit, but now they look brand new. The whole car overall doesn't look bad. It was a Craigslist find, if you can believe that. Actually, this and the Cougar were Craigslist finds. The previous owner put on these spiffy Go Fast stripes. Those add 10 horsepower. Combine that with the raised wing. Get the misconception that this thing is fast, but it looks that way maybe, but it's just a regular Scion TC, which is basically just a Toyota Corolla underneath. Nothing really fancy. These fog lights down here, they were actually a present from my brother, an aftermarket installment that matches the factory headlight kit. I actually had to take the grill insert out, and it came with this whole little grill insert, lights, all the wiring to hook it up, and even give you a switch on the dashboard here. Cool thing about these cars is it's got these knockout panels here, and this switch here is for the fog lights, fits neatly in here. Now I also got this switch, which I'll show you what that does in a little bit later. And inside look at my car, it's kind of dirty. It needs a good detailing. It needs a good washing overall. However, the rain here has just been crazy. And then it's like monsoon season when it is. Got this neat little door that hides away the radio. That's just your stock Pioneer from Scion. All that, it's a two-door, pretty standard back seat. It's actually pretty comfortable for adults, believe it or not. And then that's the view out the back there. This is the one thing I would like to change about the car. If I ever get the chance to, I don't know if I ever will, but if I manual swap this thing, that is the only thing that'll make me love this car that much more. But I guess for now I'll just have to live with the old Prindle here. Oop. Yeah, I spilled some oil. It happens. If your car does have a cabin air filter, make sure you replace it about every year or about every 12,000 miles, according to this one that I bought. Look at that. I've seen worse, but don't let it get this bad. that easy. Ooh, look at all this stuff in that cabin filter. And look how just dark the filter element is. I mean, I assumed this thing was white when it was starting, but yeah, it's been in there for at least as long as I've owned the car, which is 1 year, so don't neglect your cabin filter. One thing you can see that's obviously not stock under the hood of this car are these wires coming off the positive terminal of the battery. We got this one here is the wiring that goes to the fog lights, and this one that's spliced in goes to the fog light switch. And then we got this one here, which ties into that other switch that I showed you in the cab. In fact, it's probably be about time for me to show you what that does. Check out that underglow. And then here, of course, fog lights. All right. It's not a typical underglow kit. I put it together myself out of trailer lights that maybe I can show you here underneath of the car. So, yeah, there's one right there. Bought the bulk pack off of Amazon with trailer lights mounted to little brackets I made out of an old piece of plastic interior trim from an old car. Zip tied into place, and the wire disappears up into this plastic, I don't know what you call it, this plastic siding underneath of the side skirts. And all the wires are daisy chained together, or I mean wired in series, not daisy chained, underneath of this rocker, and they go up. Wires come out here, and there they go to join this other mess of wiring I got going on. This is the relay. I set it up right. The relay goes to the underglow, and the switch mounted in the cab. I got lucky with that. I only had to put one wire through the firewall. Let me see what I got. This wire right here, this red one, that's power to the switch. I discovered there was these open terminals that have power going to them. That's why I jumped the wire. And this black wire goes to a ground under the hood. And this blue wire is the signal from the switch to the relay to make the underglow work. Now, to be fair, I'm going to talk about a few things about the car I don't really like, or I should say I don't really care for. The one thing is, these vents here, they don't point down far enough. You can kind of put that down, it helps, but I like air pointing down at the center console where I have my arm near the shifter and everything. But the furthest these will point down they're like blowing straight at you. You try to do them any lower and they're closed. That seems to be a trend with auto manufacturers. Why can you not point the vents down far enough? This one points down a little bit further, not too much. I mean, I can live with that. I'm just kind of bickering, but that is one little thing I would like if this thing could bend, point down further. Another thing I said before, I would like it better if it was a manual, but I'll live with the Prindle because it's a Toyota, and Toyota's pretty good at making Prindles. Another thing I don't care about for this car is the throttle by wire. Never liked the throttle by wire. I've always been a fan of throttle cables. Another reason why I like the Cougar. There's not really too much I can say that I don't like about this car. There's the vents and the throttle by wire. It's got an all glass roof. I don't know if anybody knew that about these cars. I didn't know that until after I bought it. But yeah, all glass panels all the way to the back spoiler. Oh yeah, that's another thing that I don't really care about the spoiler. Not only do I not know if it functions, but it kind of blocks some of the view, especially if you're looking through the rear view mirror. In fact, let me show you, if I can show you. Right there. That's the best I can show you. It might not seem like a lot in the video, but it does kind of get in the way. It's been a pretty good daily driver so far for the first year, and I'm hoping to get maybe about 10 more years out of it. Hopefully it's got that Toyota reliability. For those of you who do know, these things did have the oil consumption problem with the low tension rings and pistons. Mine has either been fixed or doesn't have that problem. It might be a 2009, it might be new enough to not have that problem. But it's either been fixed or it doesn't burn oil, because I heard these things, once they get up to 100,000 miles with those low tension rings, will start consuming a quart of oil a week. And that's just insane. This thing does burn a little bit of oil, not a quart a week. It's livable. I can live with the amount it burns. And if you can find one of these that's in good condition, like this one, it's a great car to have. And yeah, that's about really all I have to say about it. I'm going to wrap up this video now. I'm not going to really delve too much into this car beyond this, unless I decide I'm going to do something crazy to it. But I will be getting back to work on the Cougar soon. Be looking forward to that coming.